Okay, let's try this again. Just give me a moment to set up my stream. I had gone live earlier, but I wasn't sure whether I was live or not because I hadn't connected my Twitch account to OBS. Just a moment. Oh, I've remembered. I also added Nightbot to my stream, so there are a few commands that you can run on my stream. One being YouTube, exclamation mark YouTube, and exclamation mark donate, which I have in the what's it called, in the stream title. Okay, so for today, I just want to do something simple, and as you can see, I have google.com open in my browser. So as you can tell, we're just going to be making this simple web page, which is very trivial to make. Or I say trivial, but it has quite some good elements to practice with. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually we're going to get this image. So all you have to do is go to google.com and just right click on this image and open a new tab, and then you can save the image to wherever you'd like. And then we're also going to get the thumbnail image, which can just right click once again and open in a new tab, and then you can download it. And basically that will be all that we'll need. Oh, we will need font awesome for our icon right there and our microphone icon right there as well. And then for this icon, I'm not really sure how I want to do this though, because technically this is called a bento menu, and there is no really like icon library that has this ready. I've been searching, but I've not found any. And I was thinking about creating this using divs, 9 divs, and it seems a bit of a stretch. I might try doing it, but I'm not making any promises, because all you have to do is just create a div with a gray background color and then limit the widths, and then just do flex wrap on them, which should give us this menu. So yeah, that's all that we'll be doing today. So to get started, I have Visual Studio Code open, and I have the Google logo in my folder. Here is my Google logo. And then I also have my thumbnail, which is basically my image right there, and I have an empty index HTML. So make sure that all these three are in the same folder, because that's what we're going to be working with. And I'm using Emmet, so I'm going to be a bit fast, right? So I'm going to say exclamation, which will generate a boilerplate for me. I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to link my style sheet, which I'm going to create style.css. And then at the bottom, will need a script. This is all basically going to be styling, so I don't think we need a script. I might add it, but I don't want to to give myself a lot of work. So the title here just says Google, so I'm just going to change this title to say Google. And then I'm going to say I'm going to add a theme color, name equals to theme dash color, and the content for this is just going to be white. And then what will you need? We need to create our style sheet, so I'm going to go inside here and just create style.css like that. And let's begin working on our UI. So for the first time, I'm going to have a header with these 4 items, and then we're going to have the hero, which will have our logo and our form, as well as these 2 buttons. I'm not going to add this because this is kind of dynamic depending on the region that you're in. And then I'm going to add the footer. So let's start right away, and I'm going to place a comment here and say headers, and I'm going to say header with the class of header. And this header will have a UL, with how many LIs? 4 LIs, so times 4. And then each of these LIs, the first one is going to say Gmail. I'm not going to add an href because it's not really going anywhere. Or rather, you know what? Let me go into gmail.com, right? Let me place an href here that will go to gmail.com. https mail.google.com. I think that's the link. And here we'll just say Gmail. and here we'll say images, and here we'll say, oh, we need to create bento menu. I'm still not sure whether I want to do this though. And here we have our image, so image tag. Here the source is coming from thumbnail. The alt for this is going to be this also has to be dynamic. Let me just say thumbnail image, and then here we don't need any other text really. Let me add a title that says my name. I can't even spell my name. Okay, and that will be our header. And then below the header, I just want to write out the UI first of all our markup, and then we can begin to target everything in our CSS. And in fact, you know, this is completely responsive up to around this width, so you know, we don't really need to add too many UI components. So I'm going to call this hero, and I'm going to give this a section with the class name of hero. And then I'm going to give this a div, and this div will have an image that is coming from Google logo, and I'm going to give an out of Google logo, and with a title of search for something like that. And then I'm going to create another div, and this div, I'm going to call this div with a class of form dash container, right? And then let me give this div a class of Google dash image, or Google dash logo really. And then inside here, I'm going to have a form with no action. There is a way that you can make this form functional using what Google calls, there's a Google API where you can incorporate into your website so that you, when you search for something, it will give you Google results. I think the name is programmable search console. Programmable search sound. It's something with programmable in the name. I've forgotten the name. But yeah, you can incorporate that in your website so that you can make this form functional. It's really nice. Okay, for this form, we're going to have an icon first of all. So how do I do this? I'm going to say a, let me say label. Should I say label? Should I say label? Should I say label? Let me just say label. And this will have an icon of i.fas and fa-search. And I'm going to explain why I'm doing this in a moment. And then we're going to have an input with a type of text. And then we're going to say the placeholder for this. Oh, there's no placeholder. Okay. It has a title of search, which I just actually saw when I was hovering over this. It has a title of search. And then below this input, there is a label once again, which will have an icon of FAS and FA-microphone, which I think is the font awesome class for this. And we need to grab font awesome from cdnjs.com. So font awesome. I wanted to say, really? I wanted to say search for font awesome. That's why you saw me writing search in the beginning. Okay, so we just need to grab that link tag and then place it right there. I'm placing it below our style sheet because I want our style sheet to load fast. I want our style sheet to load fast, and then our the font awesome to load after the style sheet. And as you know, HTML evaluates from top to bottom, so this hierarchy is actually important. Then I can close this down. We can go back to Google, and then be just within this section, right? Within this section, but outside of this div, I'm going to create a div with a class of buttons, and I'm going to create one button here. It's not a submit, it's basically all UI. So I'm going to give this the text for this is going to say Google search, and then another button says I'm feeling lucky, like that. And then once we do that, now all we're remaining with is our footer at the bottom. Let me place here a comment that says buttons, and then a comment here that says form or search form, like that. And then below this section, I'm going to create my footer. So I'm going to give it an HTML5 element of footer. So footer with a class of footer, like that. And how do we do this? I'm going to create a div here with an HC that says Kenya because I'm in Kenya. And then I'm going to create a UL below this with LIs. Wait a minute, how? These are two ULs, right? Let me see how this looks on bigger screens. Yeah, these are two ULs. So one UL with this and another one with this. Okay. So the first UL will have LIs, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. The first one says about. Second one says advertising. Business for the third one, and how such works for the fourth one. And then another UL with 3 LIs. The first one saying privacy, second one saying terms, and the third one saying settings. Et voila. And once we have this, then we can begin styling out everything. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to open this up with the live server like that. And if you don't see this option of live server right here, you can go into your extensions and then search for live server, and you should get this right there and install it. So that's I'm using live server. Okay, I'm going to close this down, and then I'm going to reset everything. First of all, as you can see, it's really horrible. And I'm going to say reset the margin to 0, set the padding to 0, and set the box sizing to border box. And then I'm going to say for the ULs, I don't want any bullets, so I'm going to say list style type of none. And for the anchor tags, I'm going to say text decoration of none by default. Oh, wait a minute, this is the only anchor tag here. Okay, and I'm going to say that for the LIs, let me place it below this. I'm going to be targeting the LIs, and I'm going to be targeting the hover state for the LIs, where I'm going to say that for the hover state, then I want a text decoration just like this, as you can see right there. And I'm going to say for the hover state, I want text decoration to be underlined. What is text rendering? Text decoration to be underlined like that. So let's see that. And we can see that our text decoration is actually working. And then we should have a cursor of pointer. Move this up. And just like that. Okay, looking nice, looking nice. What do we do next? Let's deal with our header. And I'm going to be targeting the header. Oops, I meant to place a comment saying the header, and I'm going to say that for the header, actually I should have started with the body. Actually, there's not really anything to do with the body really, but what I can do is say that for the body, I want the height to be 100 viewport heights, and set the overflow to hidden so that there are no scroll bars and we can't scroll. So I'm going to save that. Okay, and let me cheat a bit where I'm going to be targeting the footer next. And I'm going to say that for the footer, I want the footer to be positioned absolute. I want it at the bottom of 0 and at the left of 0. We should place this footer at the bottom right there. Looking nice, looking nice. Now that we're on the footer, let me just continue and say I want the background color to be very light gray, right about there. Nice, nice, nice. And then let me set this width to 100%. 100% so that it goes all the way to the end like that. And then right below this, I can say display flex. Let's see that. That's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. I need to add another element here on these two ULs. I'm going to give this a div with a class of footer dash links like that, so that I can go into footer links and then display this as flex. So I'm going to go into into footer and then the footer dash links, and I'm going to say display flex like that. And then let me go into the ULs, grab this, go into the ULs and say display flex as well, so that they're now like that. And then I can go inside this and say align item center and justify content center. And then here by default, I want the flex direction to be column. column. And then we're going to add a media query where once we expand to a bigger screen, then we're going to place them into raw format as it is on the actual Google homepage. Let me add some padding here of, how much is this? Quite a bit. 30 pixels, 20 or 10 pixels. Let's see that 30 pixels. Oops, no. 10 pixels on top and bottom and 30 pixels on left and right. Ooh, yeah. Okay, that looks nice. Let me go into footer links and let me go into these ULs, and I'm going to say padding on the top and bottom of 20 pixels and 0 on the left and right. Separate them out a bit. That's too much. Let's say 10 pixels. Okay, and then let me grab this and let me go into the LIs, and I'm going to set a margin of 0 on the top and bottom and 10 pixels on the left and right. Separate these out just a bit. We have to change the color as well and increase the font size. So I'm going to say right inside here, I'm going to say font size, let's say 16 pixels. That's the default. What am I doing? Let's say 20 pixels. Too much. Let's say 18 pixels. Let's change this color to EEE. Oops, no, that will blend in wrongly. Let's say DDD. Okay, let's just grab this. Oops. And then let's just increase it right around there. Still too light, around there. Almost there. That should do it. That should do it. Right, let me change this font. Let me go back to the body right here, and I'm going to say font family. Set this to what is a good font family? Let's see, Georgia. Doesn't do nothing. Doesn't do anything. Wait, did I save this? What? Font family of Korean new. I can deal with this for now. Yep, I can deal with that for now. Let's see, how about this Kenya? Let me go into the footer and let me target the footer. I'm targeting the H3. I think it was on H3. Right there. Set this color into the same dark gray color. Change the font weight to 400. Change the padding of margin left. What margin did I have on this? 10 pixels. So where was I? Margin left of 10 pixels. Move it inwards so that they're about the same, starting about the same, or not. Let me move this. Okay, and then I'm going to target the footer. Let me see what happens if I have a border bottom here. Border bottom of 2 pixels, solid, and 444. That's not what I want. Instead, I want it on. Oh, wait a minute. The reason for that is because of this 30 pixels. So if I remove this, then you'll notice that it goes all the way to the end, which means I can go inside this and say padding of 0 on the top and bottom and 30 pixels on left and right. Move that inwards and let me say 20 pixels on the bottom. Too much. Let's say 10 pixels on the bottom. Let's reduce this border to 1 pixels like that. Let's make it a bit lighter, around almost not visible. That should be fine. Change that into hexadecimal. Okay, now that we're done with the footer, all we need to do is now just deal with this, where I'm going to go back to the header now. I'm sorry, I jumped into the footer quite a bit soon. Go back to the header and I'm going to say display flex and justify content to flex end. Flex end, we should take it to the end right there. And then I'm going to go into the header once again, and I don't remember what element I have on the header. I have a UL, so I'm going to target the UL inside here. You can say display flex. like that. Align item center like that, and let's say justify content center. Nothing really happens with justify content center. And then let me go into the header and the UL once again, and I want to target the image, where I'm going to say the image should have a border radius of 50%, make it round. And actually, I've just remembered I need to go inside this and target the LIs. Oops. The LIs, where I'm going to say have a margin of 0 on the top and bottom, and 20 pixels on the left and right. Too much. 10. Oh, wait a minute. Why is, oh, there's extra space here because I have this. Where is it? I have this which is empty. That's why. Okay. I almost thought the things were about to break. So on the header, let me add a padding so that this can move downwards just a bit, and I'm going to say add a padding of 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right, like that. Okay, let me target this anchor tag, make it black, so I can just go inside here and change this color to 444, just like that. That's looking nice. Okay, I think that's fine. That's really fine. Now let's deal with our actual showcase. So I'm going to go into this hero section, and I'm going to go below the header right there, place a comment that says hero, and I'm going to say that for the hero I want to display flex, align item center, and justify content center, and add a flex direction of row, not row really, but column, and then add a height of 100 viewport heights. Let me see. I think this is going to break our application just a bit. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, nice, because the body is positioned relative. I mean, the body has a height of 100 viewport heights as well. Okay, so instead of 100 viewport heights here, because I want this to move upwards, let's say around 80, 70, 50. Make it half. Okay, so 50 viewport heights. And then what can we do? This logo is basically good as it is, so there's nothing much that I'm going to do on this really. Now all I need to do is now deal with this form and bring this inside. So I'm going to go into the form next, and the form is inside the hero, right, called form container. So I'm going to go into hero, and I'm going to go into form dash container, and for this form container I'm going to say no, I need to go into the form, and actually let me just start with the input. Give this input a padding of 20 pixels all around. Nope. 10 pixels on the top and bottom. Give this input a, let's see. Right, okay, so okay. Give this input a width of 75%. Let me see how much that is. Nope. Instead of doing that there, I can go inside this and say this width should be 75%. Really? 95? Why is this not working? Or should I say max width of 75%? Really? Wait, have I forgotten how these things work? Hero form container form. Hero form container form. Form container form. Okay. I'm just going to leave this out for a moment. Let me copy this back once again, and let me say position this relative. The reason why I'm positioning the form relative is because I want these two labels to be positioned absolute within the form. Does that make sense? So that they are inside, so that they're no longer outside, but instead they're inside. I realized that you can also use margin instead, where you have negative margin, which will push them inwards. but let me try it with the position absolute first. So I'm going to target this form once again, and I'm going to say I want to target the label, where I'm going to say, oops, I should have given the labels classes position absolute. This is going to break or not. Left of 20 pixels. There you go. Now it breaks. That's what I wanted. So I want to target the label with the class of search, which I'm going to add in a moment. Right here, give this a class of search, and give this label a class of, class of mic, like that. Save that and save this, and this should now go back there, looking nice. So instead of 20 pixels here, let's say 10 pixels, and let's say on the top from 10 pixels as well. Move it down just a bit, or let's say 8 pixels, so that it's completely in the middle. And then you can copy this once again and paste it at the bottom and target the class of mic, where we are going to do this right away and change this to right, like that. Looking nice, looking nice. Okay, and then I'm still wondering, why isn't this form okay, I realize it. What if I add a width here of 75% on the hero instead of the, okay, no, nope, that doesn't work. On the input, width of, let's say 700 pixels. Okay, so that works. So apparently percentages don't work here. Let's say 400 pixels. So 400 pixels work, or 400 pixels works. But for smaller screens, I'm thinking about around a Samsung Galaxy would be around 360 pixels. So 300 here would be fine. And then we're going to add a media query to scale it up for bigger device widths. Okay, so let's continue styling this input, where I'm going to say the border here should be 1 pixel solid. And this very light color, let's see that like that. Let's add a border radius of 50%. We should make it rounded right about, oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's say 30 pixels. We should make it rounded like that. Too small. Let's say 40, or maybe 30 is fine, because I realize it can't go further than this. And then this was padding of 10 pixels all around, right? Let me say this. It's bigger. Let's say 15 or 16. Okay, if that is 16, then we need to move this down just a bit. Let's say it was 10 pixels, and we had to move it when it was 10 pixels, we had to move it from the top by 8 pixels. So now that it's 16 pixels, it should move by how many? 14 pixels. There you go. Change this to 14 pixels as well. Okay, we can work with that. And then let me change this color for the search icon as well. And I'm going to go inside, where was it? It was inside the search. So I'm going to target this, and I want the icon inside the search, where I'm going to say change this color to C7. Make it lighter. Let me just make it a bit darker. That should do. And then I don't know how to change the color to the microphone, because this uses multiple colors, right? This uses quite multiple colors, so I'm just going to leave it as a black icon for now. And then I need to add some padding on the left and right for this. So let me go inside. Where's my input? Where is my input? Right there. Let me add a padding of 20 pixels on the left and right. Oh, you know what? That won't work. Instead, I can change these. Let me add a let's say 16 pixels as well. move them inwards as a bit, let's say 20 pixels. That should be fine. And then now let's deal with these buttons. So for the buttons, I'm going to go inside. Where are the buttons actually? They have a class of buttons outside of the form container. So it's inside the hero class, oops, and it has a class of buttons. And inside this, I want to target the button. Oops, actually, you know what? I want to add a margin here. First of all, let me say margin top of 30 pixels, pushes this down a bit, right? Yeah, that looks nice. And then let me copy this and target the actual buttons because they basically have the same style, where I'm going to say background color, change that to C7, and oops, that's not an element. Change that to C7. That's too dark. Let me make it a bit lighter. Wait, what? Let me add a padding here of 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 30 pixels on the left and right. 20. Let's say border radius of 5 pixels. Let's see how this looks. 5 pixels should be fine. Let's remove the border of, or actually let me add a border of 2 pixels. Let me say 1 pixel solid, and the same E9 right there, so that it's kind of transparent. Solid, not soiled, solid, like that. Let's add a cursor of pointer, and what is remaining, add a bit more margin between these two, where I'm going to say margin of 0 on the top and bottom and 5 pixels on the left and right, which should separate these two buttons just like that. And then you can target the hover state. Copy this, and we say that for the hover, I should bring this down, and then we can add a border of 1 pixel solid and 333, like that. I'm feeling lucky. And it has a very slight box shadow. I don't know whether you can see it. It has a very slight box shadow. Let me change this to C7. Let's see that. Let's add a box shadow here. Box shadow of 0 on the half, 3 pixels on the buff, and let's say 5 pixels on the buff, and let's say RGBA 000 and 0.2. Almost, let's say 0.1, let's say 1.5. Let's reduce this to 2. Let's reduce this to 4. And that should be fine. That should be fine. But we need to increase the font size for each of these buttons. So I'm going to say right below this, say font size, let's say 17 pixels. Where does this seem bigger? Let's say 15 pixels. That should do. That should do it. Okay. Now all we need to do now is just scale everything up, which should be easy. It should be easy enough, because all we really need to change is the size of this input, and then we need to change this to flex direction row. That's basically it. So let me add a media query right here, and I'm going to say add media min width of 500 pixels. First of all, I want to target the input, and the input is, where are you? Right here, where I'm going to change this width to 500 pixels, and I'm going to say right in here, I want to target the, I should have copied the okay, it's inside a class of hero, and it's inside a class of form container, and it's called form and input. Oh my goodness. Why do I seem so confused today? I, oh my God. Let's just continue. Let me change this width to 400 pixels. We should increase the width for this, looking nice. And then, actually that's basically it for 500 pixels. And then we can copy this down like that. Change this to 640 pixels and change this to 500 pixels. Increase the width even more. And then we can copy this down once again. Change this to 768 pixels. Change this to 600 pixels. And then change the footer. Now we can begin to target the footer. And I want to target the footer links, where I'm going to change the flex direction into row like that. And then I'm going to say justify content to space evenly, or space around. Space around should be fine. Look at that. Would you look at that? And once we do this, really, I think this should be the same width as this, isn't it? Almost the same width. Yeah, it's almost the same width. That should be fine. Should be fine. Or I can instead go here and say 650 pixels. Let's see. Yeah, that's more like it. That's more like it. And then all we need to do now is make sure that we change space around here to space between on bigger width, as you can see. Right. Okay, so let's do that right away. And I'm going to say art media min width of let's say 1280 pixels. 1280 pixels. I want the footer. Actually, I can just copy this, paste this here, and remove this and change this to space between, which should make it look like that. Okay, and once it's at space between, then we need to add some padding of around 30 pixels here so that this moves inward just a bit. I'm going to say padding of 0 on the top and bottom and 30 pixels on the left and right. Move it inwards. Et voila. That's looking nice. This is a bit big font. Let me change this font. And where was it? Actually, where was it? I can't even see it here. Let's change this to 16. Yeah, 16 should be fine. 16 should be fine. And I think that's basically it. This is actually looking, I don't like this outline on the click, so let me remove this outline, where I'm going to say for the input, where's the first time I mentioned the input? Right here, where I remove the border, I want to say outline should be none as well, so that when I click it, there's no outline. Okay, and this is an issue where I want this part, I want the text, I want to start writing from after the search icon. How do I do that? How do I do that? I actually have no clue. I actually have no clue. Nope, nothing is coming to mind. Nothing is coming to mind. But anyway, that's not such of a big deal, really. Let me just increase the font size for this because it's annoying me. Let's say font size, increase this to 18 pixels. Yep, that's much better. That's much better. And then now let's try and create our bento menu. Basically this right there. Let's try and create that. And we will probably fail horribly. But hey, we'll have an idea. So instead, I'm going to create a div with a class of, should I call them circles? And then inside this div, I'm going to have 9 divs. So divs times 9. And then for each of these 9 divs, I'm going to say I want this to have a class of circle, so singular. So basically what we want to do is just try and recreate this and then add the hover effect as well. So let's try and do this. Let's do this. I'm trying to open my editor by clicking those 2 tabs. Okay, Okay, so let's see. I can go inside these circles inside the header. So let me save this. Let me go inside my header. Inside my header right there. And where should I place it? Let me place it below this. And I'm going to say bento menu, where I'm going to say header and circles. And I want this to have a width, excuse me. I want this to have a width of 100 pixels, and I want to say display flex, align item center, justify content center, and flex wrap of wrap, flex wrap of wrap, so that once they've all covered 100 pixels, then they should automatically go to the next line. So I don't want them to be aligned inline basically. So just to see that it's working, I'm going to add L here, L here, L here, L here, L here, and L here, and L here, so that we should see something like this. Okay, is 100 pixels too little? Let's say 200. 150, 120. We did that. Seriously? Seriously? Let's say 30 pixels. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to show you, because once they cover the 30 pixels, then it automatically goes to the next slide. So let's deal with our individual circles. So I'm going to say header and circles, and for every circle, then I want a background color. Welcome to the stream. So I'm going to say a background color of C7 right there, and I'm going to say a border radius of 50% so that they are circular, and I'm going to say a padding of 5 pixels. Let's see how this looks, so that we have that. And then now we can remove these L's because we don't really need them. So let's save that. Let's see how this looks. And we have that already. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Let me reduce this padding to 3 pixels. Oops, 4 pixels then. Okay, actually, you know what? Let me reduce this to 3 pixels because I need to add margin still. So I'm going to add a margin of a pixel all around, which should separate them out, as you can see. Ooh, I feel like, man. Okay, that's enough. So what do we need to do now? All we need to do is just add a hover effect on the parent div, which is the circles. So I'm going to grab this, copy this down, and I'm going to say for the hover effect, I want the background color to change to C7. And then I want the border radius to be 50%. And let me add a padding of 4 pixels all around. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Let me add a padding of 10 pixels on the left and right so that it's more. That's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. Let me give this a width of 30 pixels so that it rhymes along with this. Actually, you know what? What am I doing? This is basically the same as this. Oh, you know what? It works. You know what, guys? It actually works. And because it works, then, don't break it. So where was I adding this is the width, right? This is the width, and we have a border radius right there. So let me add a padding of 3 pixels on the top and bottom and 4 pixels, or rather 2 pixels on the left and right. We are almost there. We are almost there. All we need to do now is target this and change this background color to something lighter on hover so that we can actually see it. Let me actually see how this looks. Did I overdo it? Wait, what? What can we do? What can we do? You know what? This is our project, so it doesn't have to be a perfect representation. This should be on hover. Oops, that's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. I don't want it to select individual circles on hover. So this is not going well. Okay, you know what, I've realized what my mistake was. My mistake was giving this to the same color. So I want this to have a darker background color than our actual circles. So let's see, so that we have something almost close to that. Wait, am I doing it? I'm doing it the wrong way. I'm doing it the wrong way. This should have a class of C7, a color sort of C7, and then this one should now be darker. There you go. Okay, 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 okay. Let me make this a bit lighter. Make this a bit lighter, and then increase the padding on the top here to 5, and on the left to 5. That's not really circular. Oh, you know what? It messes up with our width. It messes up with our width. I don't like these kinds of calculations that make me think too much. For a simple thing, piece of advice: if you're using too much code to represent something simple, then you're probably doing something wrong. But this looks fine. The only problem that I have now is this padding on the left, which is making it do this. I don't like it. Let's say 3. Let's say 2. Okay. We can remove the other 5 right there. And then we can say this to 30 pixels. Nope. 33 pixels. Nope. 34. Okay, 34 is fine. But then the reason why it's doing this is because there's not enough space for it to actually hover without, this. It's adding an extra layer on our box model. That's why. So what we need to do is just, let me see if increasing this will help. Increase that to 12. Nope, it doesn't help. Why doesn't it help? It doesn't help because we are increasing the width here on hover and it's a fixed width here. So let's increase this to 34 pixels and it should get rid of that. But I don't want this to happen. 33, 32, 31, 31 pixels. So let's reduce this to 31. Let's see, it will break. Of course it does. Of course it does. Okay, this is really annoying. This is really, really, really annoying. It is really annoying. Let me change this to 4 pixels. Let me reduce this to 31. Basically increase the size of our circles so that we can have this at 35 and this at 35. I say, wait, what? Why was I even tinkering with this when it's already defined up here? I'm telling you guys, man, my head is not right here. So what I need to do is now just reduce this back to, what did I change? I changed this. Was it at 3? Nope. Okay, this was at 3 and this was at 31 or 30. So that we have this. And then what was I changing here? Was I changing this to 4? Okay, this is now becoming really annoying. This is now becoming really, really annoying. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that because it's becoming really, really annoying. And then I want to push this down a bit because it's too much. Or maybe increase the size of the image. But let me just push it down a bit, and it was in the hero. Where's my hero? CTC. Change this to 60 pixels. 60 viewport heights, I mean 60 viewport heights. And then let me increase some margin between this image and our first input right there. So I can go inside my container right here. And I can say margin top of 20 pixels, push it away from the image. Looking almost nice. But then let me increase the size of the image just a bit, where I can go inside the hero and I want to target the image, where I'm going to say the image should be let's say 66%. Oops, wait a minute, 100%. This is 100% of the image. What am I doing? So 110%. 110%, is that good? That should be good. Should be good. Now let's just make sure that we haven't broken anything. Yep, that's nice. That's nice. Though what I should have done, because this is basically mobile first, on small screens this might break a bit. So what I'm going to do is remove this from here, and then I'm going to add a media query. I'm going to add it as a media query right about here, like that, so that when we increase it, then our size will change. The size of the image will change right about there, as you can see. So that's looking nice. That's looking nice. I was thinking about doing something else with this, where I add a click event for JavaScript to actually show this, but I don't know whether I'm in the mood for it. I don't know whether I am in the mood for it. I could do it. Do I really want to do it? I don't think I'm in the right state of mind to do this though, because I've messed up quite a bit of things that I don't really mess up when I'm in my normal thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a GitHub repository. So github.com, create a new repository, call this Google homepage, create repository, copy this, and I'm going to commit this to GitHub. Okay, I can close this down, I can close this, I can close this, and I can say git init, which will initialize a Git repository for me, and then I can say git add all, git commit -m, and I'm going to say Google homepage clone, and I'm going to say git remote add origin, paste that in, and I'm going to say git push -u origin main. Now, if you're wondering why, I know this project is a bit out of the blue. So if you're wondering why I was doing this project, it's because I was looking around at, let me add a readme.md, Google homepage clone. I was looking around at a website called the Odin project. I don't know if you've heard of it. And one of the projects where they recommend to like improve your UI design skills and your front-end skills, they challenged the users to create a clone of the Google homepage. So I thought that was a really nice project, and that is why I've done this. As you can see, we have got as close to the design as we possibly could without the functionality, really, because that wasn't part of the deal. But then yeah, that's basically it. If you're looking for the website, it's called the Odin project. This should be it, or is it .org or .com? Let's see. Yep, yes, this is the website right here. So you can go to this website, you can find a few of the things. It's really nice in terms of the challenges that they give you. Okay, so let me just add this readme here, and I'm going to say this project is from H2, where they asked the users to create a clone of the Google homepage. Here is my submission, which is, I haven't really technically, or let me just say here is my attempt, because I haven't really technically submitted this. So I'm going to add this to GitHub, git add all, git commit -m, add readme, and git push, we should push it to GitHub, and it should now reflect right. And voila, there you go. Okay, so I'm thinking of really doing this toggle right here, because really I'm thinking of doing this because it actually looks really nice. It actually does look really nice. um it has quite a bit of things that I don't know whether the issue that I have is I don't know whether all these icons are available on Font Awesome. That's the one issue I have. Font Awesome. Let's see these icons. Google search. Google should be available, really. Google should be available. So we have Google, we have Google Pay, Google Play, sorry, we have Google Pay as well, of course. We have Google Plus, we have Gmail, we have Blogger, we have Blogger. Okay, now that we have all these icons, or basically most of these icons, the other issue that we will have is what am I thinking about? The other issue that we'll have is the colors for each one of them. That's the other issue that we have. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm not going to create all of them. I'm just going to create about 3 or 4 where I'm going to just get them from Font Awesome. And I'm going to create the Google, the Maps, the YouTube, the Play, Gmail probably. Let's see if I can do that. Let's just see if I can do that. But that involves quite a bit of styling. Oh my God. And the reason why I'm a bit reluctant to do it as well is because my time is kind of limited. And I can say we're already an hour into the stream. So I don't really want to start something that I know I won't finish. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in another video, in another stream basically, because I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube. So what I'm going to do is in the next stream, we will probably, and I'm emphasizing probably, we'll probably start from here where we're going to create this this nice menu. And then once we do that, then we can move on to another project, which I'm going to plan in a moment. So I think an hour for a stream like this is technically nice. And yeah, I think that will be it. So thank you for watching, even though I realized that some of you joined about halfway in, but that's okay. You can check the VOD, you can check the YouTube video, which will probably release on Monday because I have something planned for tomorrow. I'm trying to create a culture where I upload after every 2 days so that it's more consistent, you know. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thank you for following. And if you have built this project, congratulations to you as well. And you can formally follow me on the socials, exclamation mark. Oh wait, I don't have that. I don't have that command yet. You can follow me on YouTube. You can subscribe to me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter. All the links are available in the description and in the about section as well, or if you're following on Twitch. And I will see you in the next stream. So thank you guys for watching.